Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
Ding dong, the witch is dead as Nico Harrison has been fired by the Mavericks. Also, the Kentucky Wildcats got into a track meet with the Louisville Cardinals and they struggled to keep pace. Plus, the Bengals might want to hold back on rushing Joe Burrow back.
I'm Peter Bukowski, starting your day with the can't-miss stories and biggest debates in sports. You're Locked On Sports Today.
Searching all major sports. Found.
Let's start with the biggest story.
The Mavericks finally pulled the plug on GM Nico Harrison, and the city of Dallas rejoices. Locked On Mavs host Nick Angstad and Isaac Harris reacted to some exciting news.
And you're built around two guys that you don't know if they're ever going to come back. And so the vision, the quote unquote, now you're seeing my vision, we don't know if that was ever going to ever step on the court. That was the thing that we kept hearing from people. Well, wait till we see it on the court. Well, wait till you see it on the court. Well, wait till you see it on the court. And I don't know if we were ever going to see it. On top of that, the Luka trade is a fireable offense as it is.
Yes, no, I thought you were going to keep on going through the timeline.
I was dropping that one right off for you.
There's the Luka trade. It's so much bigger than like the Luka trade is a massive thing. But if someone's like swooping in right now and they're like, I don't listen to Mavs pods. I just want to hear the reaction to this because they've heard Nico's name so much. You're like, why are you celebrating so much? It's bigger than just like a failed trade. Like, yes, it was the worst trade in NBA history. It was wrong, all of it. But it's so much bigger than the trade too, because there's a way that Nico makes the Luka trade. He gets the best offer. He puts it out there and they start taking, and they get this massive deal. And it happens over the summer. Like there's a way that he trades Luka, an alternate universe in which fans are still pissed. It's still the wrong decision and all that. But the hatred isn't as bad as what it is now. It's because you make a trade like that and all the other stuff that follows. It's the lack of awareness of the fan base. It's the laughing and joking after you make the trade.
Yes.
It's the arrogance that you know better than everybody else, that you are the king of zagging because you just know, like, this is the vision. And after you have the audacity, after you win a 1.8% chance of getting Cooper Flag, to say that, like, hey, hopefully fans start seeing the vision now. Like, you had anything to do with Cooper Flag. But it's the disrespect he had for not just the fans, but people within the organization. There is a path of bodies behind him that are not in the organization now. I seen Mike Marshall tweet out earlier about just it's cool that he's gone now after so many people lost their careers having to defend this guy over the past year or so. It's the relationship with Dirk Nowitzki, your franchise legend, like your one guy that is like the representative of your whole organization, one of the best players of all time, that is distant from the organization. Like, there are so many things behind the scenes in organization. How you treat people matters. And of course, how the decisions you make, you got to live with them. I asked Miles Turner last night in the away locker room when the Bucks were here about hearing, these chants in the arena that he grew up going to Mavs games here in Dallas. And he was like, hey, you just, it's a hard business and you got to live with the decisions that you make. And it's like, this is Nico Harrison having to live with the decision. And like, you're living with it. You kept on telling everybody that would put their ears to you of, man, time's going to tell. Time's going to tell. Told us at Media Day, time's going to tell. Well, time's told. Like, it's done. Like, you're gone.
This team was not going to win a title this year. 3-8 to start. There's very low chance, under 14%, that they are going to even make the playoffs this year, which is insane. And to go back to the Luka trade, which I don't know, is that a sentence I'll say for the rest of my life? That spit in the face of every single fan and Dirk Nowitzki and everybody that helped set up that career, set up Luka Doncic and the Luka Doncic era and everything. It's been in the face of all that. They had just made the NBA Finals. That's the whole thing. That's the whole game. Is all right, when we make the finals, can we be competitive? Do we have a player that we believe in that we can build to go to the NBA Finals and to win? That's the entire game. And Dallas Mavericks fans know that better than anybody because they watched Dirk Nowitzki run through that whole thing and deal with 2007 or deal with 2006, where they made the finals and then lost in a way that was a little questionable. Then in 2007, losing in the first round after winning MVP and that insane heartbreak and all that. And then you thought that chance was completely over. And then he makes it back in 2011 in a team that nobody really expected to make the NBA Finals. And they go and they play LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, and they go and beat them, the Heatles. An incredible, storybook hero moment. And that's what Dallas Mavericks fans know. They know the hero moment of saying, all right, just be patient, wait with your guy, because eventually it pays off, and it pays off in a title that people say is one of the most respected, valid titles it's ever had, as he went through Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and he'd been in the first round like Brandon Roy, LaMarcus Aldridge in the first round. An incredible moment. And you were waiting for that moment with Luka. You had invested 6-7 years in Luka Doncic, in his success, seeing him make 5 first-team All-NBAs before the age of 26, an incredible feat. And all of a sudden, Nico Harrison comes and says, hey, guys, guess what? Everything that you guys just were celebrating and everything, it's completely crap. It's terrible. It's not working. It's not going to work ever. I know better than anybody else, and I'm going to bring in somebody in Anthony Davis that plays for the Lakers and is a big that is not what our team is built around right now. And I'm going to zag, like you said, and bring in this guy. And now guess what? Anthony Davis came into camp overweight and is now dealing with a calf strain. And you never hope that somebody is injured. And that is just an insane irony in this whole thing. That the same reason that Nico Harrison moved on from Luka Doncic, because Luka Doncic was consistently out of condition and came into camp overweight, and he was dealing with a calf strain for over a year, even through the NBA Finals. And Nico Harrison looked at that and said, I think we can do better. We got to get somebody that comes in here and is our brand of basketball, that comes in shape, that is a person that takes care of their body and all that, and got somebody that wasn't doing that this season is just absolutely ironic and insane in this whole thing. But I just go back to that Luka trade and say it's spit the face of every single fan, and that's why they've been chanting fire Nico.
Stay up to date all year on the Dallas Mavericks by subscribing to Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Mavs on your favorite podcast app. Your Locked On Sports Today. Coming up, Louisville got out and ran against the Kentucky Wildcats. Before we get to that, Bill Belichick responds to speculation now that the New York Giants job is available. The NFL season is rolling along, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for the weekend with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits how I like to bet. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the best way to add a little more energy to Sunday. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Bill Belichick has already been asked about the Giants head coaching job, and the North Carolina head coach, remember he still is the coach of North Carolina, responded in peak Belichick fashion.
I know when you got here, you said you're not coming here to leave, but as soon as the Giants job came over yesterday, your name got thrown out there. I'm sure with other NFL jobs. What is your message to players, to recruits? I'm sure people are asking about that who want to come in the program.
Yeah, getting ready for Wake Forest. That's all I got this week.
Has anyone asked you, or the players or recruits want to know about the future?
I mean, I've been asked about it from time to time, but yeah, I've been down this road before. I'm focused on Wake Forest. That's it. And that's my commitment to this team. And next week it'll be to our next opponent and so forth. But, I'm here to do the best I can for this team.
Over in the NBA, the Celtics duked it out with the Sixers.
They say it's a make or miss league, and the Celtics proved that right in another one-possession loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm John Corrales of the Locked On Celtics podcast. Second quarter was the worst shooting quarter we've seen in the NBA this year. The Celtics fell behind by 12 at one point, 10 at the half, and then they turned it around. Monster quarter from Jaylen Brown, from Derek White. They went up by 9. And then in the fourth quarter, it looked great. Anthony Simons was doing his thing. And all of a sudden, Justin Edwards gets hot, and the Celtics' late game execution is a problem once again. When you hold Tyrese Maxey to 4 points in the fourth quarter, you should be able to close it out. But once again, the Celtics give up a crucially horrible offensive rebound. You had Kelly Oubre with the putback. His only 2 points of the quarter, but they won the game. The Celtics need to make shots. They need to execute better when they have opportunities. It's not just going cold. It's they're getting good looks. They're creating good situations, and they're a step slow, a half second behind on passes. They're getting blocked. It's just they don't have the talent to see things and execute the way they need to right now. It's just not there. And when the shots aren't falling, Celtics ain't winning.
And Travis Hunter, the Jaguars' prize rookie corner / receiver / everything, will undergo season-ending surgery.
Devastating news in Jacksonville. Man, Travis Hunter gone for the rest of the season. Had season-ending surgery yesterday. The mercurial talent out of Colorado, man, who had played both ways for Jacksonville, and it really started to turn it on and had his best game. His best game was actually his last game against the Rams. He's gone for the rest of the year, man, has about a 6-month recovery, and then he'll be back next season. I think the Jaguars should have a more definitive plan for exactly how they want to proceed with him. And you'll probably know what that plan is based on some things that they do in the offseason as they anticipate his return in 2026. But they're going to have to make some moves before he's healthy enough to even start football activities. It's going to let you know a lot about how they plan to use Travis Hunter in the future. Gone for the rest of 2025. We wish Travis the best in his recovery.
The Kentucky Wildcats found themselves in a bind against Louisville, who were in a full sprint from start to finish in a thrilling rivalry game. Locked On Kentucky host Lance Dahl reacted to one of college basketball's biggest rivalries taking center stage on Tuesday night.
Again, recapping Kentucky's 96-88 loss to the Louisville Cardinals. We will start here. We will give credit to the victors. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not sitting here telling you exactly what's going to happen in the future, but if you listen to the preview episode, we kind of got everything in that preview episode, and it kind of played out here as far as what both of these teams might possibly do offensively, defensively. I think the one thing that we couldn't account for is just how impactful Sananda Frew was defensively. That was basically the only thing that was kind of not in that preview episode. But the lead question was, or one of the biggest questions I should say, was, can Kentucky rely on their can these two teams rely on their two lead point guards to become efficient scorers in this game? Can they be scorers and not just distributors? And Mikel Brown Jr., who I said it's probably going to lean on him more than anything in that group of point guards there. I mean, he answered the call. 29 points, 8 of 16 from the floor, 3 of 10 from beyond the arc, but he also was 10 of 11 from the charity stripe. He had 5 assists to just 1 turnover. Most of his damage coming in that first half, 20 of his 29. And then you also look in that Louisville backcourt to Ryan Conwell, who had 24 points, 8 of 12 from the free throw line, 4 of 10 from 3. Those were the guys that basically ended this game. And again, a lot of their damage came in the first half. 53 first half points for the Cardinals. Kentucky down by 7 heading into the break. They got down as much as 20 with 12 minutes to go in this game. Kentucky crawled back into this one, made it, I believe, a 6-point game. They could have cut this game to 3. Unfortunately, they did not. Late, a couple of missed 1-and-1s. Front ends of 1-and-1s, I should say. Most notably, that one for Jalen Lowe. Super late in this game. Lowe with a couple of costly turnovers at the end. He shot 2 of 8 from the floor. Lowe in 29 minutes did not, I think, have his best game. But I think the backcourt is kind of where this starts here as far as these two teams competing. I'll get to Aberdeen in a second. But again, it was Conwell and Brown who led the charge. And Brown played phenomenally. I mean, this was a guy all the way back over a year ago. We've been talking about him on the show for a hot minute. about how talented he is, how fluid with the ball he is, really good distributor, but he also showed, again, the scoring prowess tonight. You saw that in high school, was shooting like 33% from deep to start this season. He still is actually shooting around there because he went 3 for 10 in this game, but it was the foul drawing, it was the tough shot making, it was the explosiveness at various points, driving to the rim. Something that Kentucky could not do in the first half is prevent some of those straight line drives that, honestly, I thought Kentucky would be a little bit better at. I thought they were at times in this game. But again, Mikel Brown Jr., Ryan Conwell, just sort of taking the ball in their offhand, shielding off their defender, and Kentucky just was not physical enough in that first half to prevent some really easy opportunities at the rim. 36 points in the paint for Louisville. It felt like a lot more than that, especially in that first period of play. Cats defensively just kind of fall apart at various points. They got caught switching into some really bad matchups. They struggled to prevent some really important wide open looks from three, some of which Louisville hit, actually most of which Louisville hit in that first half, to kind of expand this lead to where it got to. Again, Conwell, Brown, and then Isaac McNeely were the guilty parties there. You also have to give credit to Adrian Woolley, who hit 2 really big threes in this game, I thought, at various points. Kentucky, I thought defensively, they had some issues. No duh. At the same time, though, if you are looking ahead, if you are trying to be positive, the reality of the situation is we knew going into this game, as much as you guys might not like to admit it, this is a very good Louisville team. It's better than they were a season ago. The personnel, I think, plays into the strengths of what Pat Kelsey wants to do on offense. They are going to be a very good team. They are a very good team. They showed it tonight. For Kentucky moving forward, are you going to see another team that knocks down 13 3-pointers against you? You probably won't, actually. Are you going to see a team that puts up 40 3-point shots on you in total? Honestly, you probably won't, unless things get really desperate for somebody in SEC play. This is a really, really good offense. It's about volume. That's been the name of the game. We've preached that on the show. The coaches have preached that, and they were able to get, again, 13 3-pointers tonight. And then the other thing we talked about, was the free throw line. I thought that was the third thing in this game that would dictate how this goes. Kentucky, a season ago, doubled up Louisville in terms of free throws, and tonight, Louisville doubled up Kentucky. 31 free throw attempts as opposed to Kentucky's 16. Kentucky went 12 of 16 from the line. Louisville, 21 of 31. They had a chance to close out there. I believe they missed 6 straight at the end of the game to let Kentucky hang around for the final minute and a half. Again, Kentucky couldn't do anything with it. They turned the ball over, I think, 3 times. Just free throws, not being able to contain Mikel Brown Jr., not playing with enough intensity early in this game. It's clear Pope is able to get heart and fight out of this team. Really like the way that they tried to come back in this one. Really gritty stuff. We'll get to some of the positives here. As far as the defense goes, some bad stuff tonight in terms of switching. I think it's all fixable, and you have to also understand the reality of Jaden Quayton's coming back for this squad at some point in the near future. And I think that completely changes what Kentucky can do on the defensive end because of his length, because of his paint presence, and because of what he can do blocking shots and altering things and just being another athletic presence that the Wildcats can have on the floor. So
stay up to date all year on the Kentucky Wildcats by subscribing to Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Kentucky on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Coming up, Cincinnati, you might want to rethink rushing Joe Burrow back. The Cincinnati Bengals were looking to get quarterback Joe Burrow back within the next few weeks. Locked On NFL host Tyler Rowland and Luke Braun discuss whether or not that's the best idea for a 3-6 team that might not be alive for much longer anyway.
I'm sorry, but no. They play the Steelers this week in Pittsburgh. Then they play the Patriots. Then they play the Ravens. Then they play the Bills in Buffalo. Then they play the Ravens again. I'm sorry, the season is over. And with every injury that Joe Burrow's ever gotten, turns out to be the worst version of that injury that we've seen. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it would be insane. I know it sucks for Cincinnati. I guess if they were to beat the Steelers and the Patriots, if somehow they can beat the Steelers and the Patriots without Joe Burrow and they can move to 5-6, then I guess maybe we'll have the discussion. But being a logical person, there is no way they could put Burrow back out there, and they certainly can't rush him.
The bigger question right now is around the build of this team. We've seen Joe Flacco effortlessly score points, And just a few years ago, we saw Jake Browning do the same. They're paying Joe Burrow $50+ million. They're paying Jamar Chase, at least at the time, the most money of any non-quarterback in the NFL. And they paid T. Higgins as a top-tier receiver as well. The offense is great. The thing is, it's kind of great no matter who the quarterback is, in part because they have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. So was all of this worth it? Does all of it make sense? Does Joe Burrow make sense? Does having Jamar Chase and T. Higgins make sense? Well, offensively, sure. Yeah, of course. But this defense is a nightmare. Even if Joe Burrow comes back, they have no shot to win these games. If they can't win scoring 38 points, they can't win. And it's not like Joe Burrow is going to come in and they're going to score 40, 45, 50. That's not how it works. This has been a botched team building job from the jump. And I think it's going to take a long time to get out from underneath this. This team is a long way from being where it needs to be, in part because of the way they built this thing. And finally, Jair Alexander hit pause. A week after the Eagles traded for the former All-Pro cornerback, the two-time All-Pro told the team he's stepping away to get physically and mentally. And finally, Jair Alexander hits pause. A week after the Eagles traded for him, the two-time All-Pro told the team he's stepping away to get right physically and mentally as he works back from knee surgery. He didn't travel for the Green Bay game against his former team, and Philly says that was part of the plan. Health first, system second. If the reset takes, the bet is the same one Howie Roseman made at the deadline. A little bit of short-term patience for a long-term payoff. If it's clarity Jair Alexander seeks, if it is a body that no longer betrays him, I hope he finds it. If you're catching this episode after hearing your favorite Locked On show, make sure to subscribe to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Also, if you're a new subscriber to Locked On Sports Today, we're here for you with the biggest stories in sports every day. Coming up, the Knicks will try to make it 6 straight wins, but not if the Magic have anything to say about it. So at least until tomorrow, stay locked on sports today.
Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
For more episodes of Locked On Sports Today, go to our video on demand. Click on Sports at the top of your screen. There, you'll find past episodes of Locked On Sports Today, plus other Locked On shows on demand.